Just like show. I'm the Trev. It's too sweet. Anyway, this is part 2 to the Pittsburgh Pirates. If you haven't checked it out, go here. There's a link up above you. And this would be another market the NHL would come back to with the next 6 in 1967. It isn't too far. It's in familiar territory, so let's talk about it. Talk about the Philadelphia Quakers. Let's do it. So the Philadelphia Quakers were the product of the Pittsburgh Pirates moving across state, hoping a new arena would be built in Pittsburgh. So you got to remember, they came from the Duquesne Arena, which by the time they moved was already in its 45th year. And the Quakers' name comes from the historical importance of the Quaker religious community in the founding of not just Philadelphia, but also of Pennsylvania. So while the wait for replacement for Duquesne Arena, the Quakers would play their games at the Philadelphia Arena, which at the time was only 25 years old, as opposed to 45 years old. So coming into the 30-31 season, the roster for the Quakers didn't really look too different. The roster was essentially the same roster that left Pittsburgh, with the exception of a young rookie named Sid Howe, who would go on to be somewhat good, some would say. And their head coach, Cooper Smeaton, who replaced Frank Frederickson 2 days after the move to Philadelphia was approved. And the Quakers also brought the Pirates' debt from Pittsburgh, which totaled $400,000. In 1931, that was, I'm sure, quite a huge chunk of change. In today's money, 2022, it's just short of $8 million. So, there's that. Now, you know that old phrase, the more things change, the more they stay the same? You could apply that here. The 30-31 season, the only thing that really changed was the location and the jerseys, because the product on the ice was about the same as it was when it was in Pittsburgh. It took the team 3 games to score its first goal of the season, and 3 more after that to get their first win of the season, which was a 2-1 win over Toronto. 6 games to win a game. And that's probably the highlight they had all season. The Quakers had finished the season with a terrible 4-36-4 record. Their 136 win percentage was the lowest in NHL history for 45 years. So their longevity was intact, but for all the wrong reasons. Their 4 wins tied the 1919-20 Quebec Bulldogs for fewest wins in NHL history for a team that played a full season. Do you remember, they didn't play 80-plus games back then. They had the worst offense with 76 goals for and the worst defense with 184 goals against. Jerry Lowry led the team in scoring with 27 points. In fact, they got any points at all. It says a lot. And so it was, on September 26, 1931, the Quakers, having all their financial troubles going unchecked, and obviously not much going into improving the team asked for and received permission to suspend the franchise for the season. Now, granted, a lot of this was probably due to the Depression, too, because this was the same time the Senators suspended their operations for the season. But unlike the Senators, these guys would not come back. For the players who were still under contract, those contracts were leased to other clubs. And while the intention was always to come back either in Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, and while for the next 5 season opening governors' meetings, they at least announced, or at least sent a representative to announce they still had intentions, only to suspend operations for the next season. The Quakers would never see the ice again, though, as I said, having officially suspended operations altogether on May 7th, 1936. And as I'd mentioned before, with the roster being comprised mostly of old Pittsburgh Pirates players, Sid Howe, who as I mentioned was a rookie for this team, would be the last active player to play for the Quakers, as well as the only member of the team in a playing role elected to the Hockey Hall of Fame. And Cooper Smeaton, who, if you remember, was the head coach, was also elected into the Hockey Hall of Fame, but only as an official instead of a builder, as he went on to have a referee career and as well as being a trustee of the Stanley Cup from 1946 to 1978. But, much like Pittsburgh, the NHL would return to Philadelphia, and as I said, it wouldn't be until 1967. Philadelphia Arena would be long gone, and its place would be something completely different. But this is the end of the road for the Pittsburgh/Philadelphia franchise at this point in time. Their whole one season, which by all standards was really, really, really bad. Says another one of Trev's hockey shows. I want to thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you're at this point. It's a great thing for all of us. So let's keep this mojo going. Give me a like since you're here. While you're at it, if you haven't yet, that red button that says subscribe all over it, hit that thing. Stay up to date with all the content I'm putting out. My one and only social in the description down below. Moving forward, as far as defunct teams is concerned, the next one I got, it's a two-parter. But part one is going to be really, really good, I hope. But either way, in the meantime, and in between time, be looking for more videos from the Trev. Later.